Are we
What's up,
here?
man? We're here.
This is awesome. This is my first interview on Instagram Live.
We got it, man. I was just talking about you being the mindset king.
Oh man, I've never been referred to as that, but I'll take it.
This is it. People's habits, they're stuck in cruise control a lot. We just play small by default. We stay in procrastination land. How do you catch it? The mindset king, Garen Jones, like how do we catch it? How do we get out of our cruise control, get out of just autopilot and go after a greater life?
Well, honestly, you can't see a picture while you're in the frame. So most people who are on cruise control, it's like cemetery is not where you see the most dead people. It's like when you walk around outside every day, you see people with something that's died inside of them, and the worst part about it is they don't even know it. So they're just kind of just existing in life, not really living, and you can't change what you're not aware of. So it takes some kind of sign or some kind of something to wake you up to wake you up to what you're even doing, because most people have no clue, and I've spoken to thousands of people all over the world. They have no clue of what they're doing or why they're doing what they're doing, because it's kind of been ingrained inside of them since their childhood. They do what their mom or dad does or their teacher does or society does, until something happens one day. They wake up, they're like, damn, I didn't even realize it. So I think the biggest thing is, by even you having a platform like this, first and foremost, thank you for having a platform like this and welcoming voices like mine to actually be heard, so people can hear the truth for once in their life, because we've been lied to, I think, since the beginning of mankind. So definitely thank you for that. But honestly, it's like whenever we have the opportunity to create that awareness for people and something that they actually relate to. Now, I'm not talking about you give pre-calculus to a baby and they don't understand. I'm talking about when you have content and a platform, and there's somebody with a voice, or there's a book that people can actually read and not have to decipher codes or anything like that, so that they can understand what they're in. I honestly feel that's the only way to get someone's attention, is by showing them who they are really, and hitting them in a way where it's like, holy, like I didn't even realize that I was inside of this. It's like me, I was broke mindset literally my whole entire life. I didn't know that. I thought everybody was broke. I thought everybody's lights went off, and your parents had to light up candles. I didn't know that there was like wealthy people in the world. So I didn't know until I saw the difference and I started being around different people. I'm like, yo, why does this person have a car? And why do I not have a car? How come I'm getting free lunch? And how come this guy has money? So I never knew that until I was aware of something else. When I was aware of something else, then I had the opportunity to choose. But then once I start feeling lonely and feeling doubtful and feeling insecure, but I saw somebody that was feeling confident and they had money and they were happy, I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want. So it's just about providing awareness for people to know what's possible outside of their conditioned programming.
That's what I'm doing. I know that's what you're doing with everything that you're up to. For people who are watching, how do they force it on themselves daily? Right? Like they might be watching this and get inspired, like I'm gonna take life by the reins, I'm going for it, but then the next day they wake up and it's all, back to square one. How do you take control yourself daily when a lot of these things might be external influences on you?
I take it like this. Take a little kid who listens to a song over and over and over and over and over and over and over. What is the little kid doing for the next month with that song? Singing it, humming it, doing the dance over and over and over, because he's literally ingrained it inside of his subconscious mind, which is causing him to project the melodies and the songs and over and over and over. So if you can understand the process of how that works, I like to speak in things in relatability terms where people actually understand. You can understand the process of how it works when you listen to a song over and over and over. Now imagine listening to the song called I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, or kill, steal, drugs, or insecure, or the voice inside listening to that over and over and over. I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm insecure, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Well, if you're 10 years old, 5 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, that's like listen to this broken record every day, all day long. So what do you think your life is going to look like? Your life is going to look exactly like the story you keep telling yourself on the inside. So what you would need to do, or what you get to do, is listen to a more empowering narrative. So maybe on positive thinking, maybe on gratitude, maybe on selfless service, maybe on love, and listening to that. I turned off the TV, I turned off the radio, and I made all of that time. It was 4 hours a day. And I turned all of that time into my university on wheels. So like when I was in my car, I would just listen to, I was listening to like The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, The Power by Rhonda Byrnes, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and I was just listening over and over and over, overriding 30 years of thinking one way. You've got to do it over and over and over and over and over. When the tipping scale starts going to what you're constantly listening to, your life will crack the code. So our mind is like a big cement block because of what we were ingrained as a child. If you drop a seed on that cement block, nothing happens. But what's under cement? Dirt and soil. So when you take that drill, if you drill one time, nothing happens. But when you drill over and over, something that opens up. The seed drops in, goes into the soil, finally something can grow. So listening to something over and over and over and overriding your old thought process, your old paradigm, till something cracks. That is one thing that you can apply today, but it can't be, I'm kind of doing this. I want to be successful, so I'm going to kind of do this and kind of do that, because you'll get a kind of result. You must jump into it with abandon, like a baby learning how to walk, like somebody learning how to ride a bike, like the same way that you did learning the ABCs. It's all part of the same philosophy. You've just got to commit yourself to mastery in the area, in the arena of something that you actually want.
How do you make it important enough for people to drill through the cement block to get to the dirt?
People really just don't know the payoff of their life. So if you could really see the scope of your life of the last 15 years, if it's the same, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, same, bank account the same, I still date the same kind of people, and the same. And what you're realizing is people don't do what you say, they do what they see. So if you got children, you're literally teaching them how to operate below average with below average thinking. And if you're insecure, if you're not doing anything, if you're not jumping into your life and jumping into success or jumping into abundance with abandon, what's happening is you're teaching everyone around you how to be exactly how you are. And people, people don't do what you say, they do what they see, and they respond to how they feel. So you can be saying something. I stood on stage in front of 30,000 people, and I said, everybody touch your nose, touch your nose, touch your nose. And 95% of the room touched their forehead because they were watching what I was doing. So our children, our students, the society, when we make our music videos, we're literally teaching the next generation how to be f-ups. When you just literally turn on the TV and you see what's going on. What's going on is a bunch of people that don't love themselves, who don't know themselves, who haven't woken up to the power that exists inside of them to generate natural born happiness. And from there, people really don't see the payoff of just existing in life until they're aware of it. That's what happened to me. I just carried on with the same life, try to change everything up top, which is like, you know, melting ice on a mud pie. Like, it's like icing on a mud pie, just over and over and over. nothing is going to change if you're trying to change from the surface. But it wasn't until I got to the root of everything, the root of my childhood, of how everything started, where rejection started, where insecurity started, where fear started, confronted it, cleared the space, and created a whole new possibility to live into for my future. When I was aware of the damage that I was doing to everyone around me and my child and my future and my legacy, that's when I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I'm causing my life. But I had no idea until somebody showed me, this is what your life is going to look like if you carry on. Because all my friends that I grew up with, dead. Like my best friends, they're dead. And we were all doing the same thing, but I chose to make a left instead of making a right. You know, so getting people to see the payoff of what's going on in their life, and how you're showing up and what it's causing to your bank account, the fact that you have like no one, like you don't feel loved, you feel alone, you feel insecure and all of that stuff. We're doing that to ourselves. But if you don't know that you're doing that to yourselves, then the blame is going out. First, taking full responsibility and knowing like, wow, I can't change anyone else, but I can change myself. Now starting learning more about yourself. That's what it is. It's like seeing the payoff of what you're doing to your own life, and it's you causing your life.
So I know you had the moment in the car that was like life-changing for you. You had to change your whole direction. Do you think people have to go and hit rock bottom to make the big change? Is it required?
Absolutely not. I learned the hard way. It is not required. From 2003 to 2005, I was 2.5 years in prison, 2.5 years living in my car. So funny. It's like 2.5 years, everything. 2.5 years to earn a 7-figure income too. Once I start to figure it out. But 2.5 years in a French prison, 2.5 years living in my car, and then a 10-year stretch where I was going from couch to couch to couch to girl's house to couch and trying to figure out my damn life. But it's so funny because I'll speak to people. They're like, oh, you know, I'm so glad I didn't have to go to prison. And I'm like, so how's your relationship with that guy that you've been dating for 5 years and you know damn well you don't want to be in that relationship? Guess what? You're in prison right now. How about that 10-year job that's paying you less than your value, and you're only staying because of benefits, but you're stressing out to go to the doctor from the job that's causing you to have stress? Like, that's prison. If you're not doing what you love, so we all pretty much grow through the same things internally or mentally. Just on the surface, it looks different, but you don't have to hit the rock bottom. I would say learn quicker. So if there's people who's actually grown through a life that's willing to give the information, listen. Don't listen and try to turn it into your own way, because if you're not happy and then you try to do things your own way, that's like a 5th grader trying to teach himself how to get out of 5th grade, which I've never seen that in a million years. It's always classroom, a facilitator, the teacher that can teach you how to develop the skills to pass the test to go to the next level. For me, I just say, if you see somebody who inspires you a great deal, success leaves clues. And so watch how the person shakes hand. I learned this from Jim Rohn. Watch how he walks. Watch how he speaks about people. Watch how people respond to him. And if it's something that you're not doing, John C. Maxwell says, successful people are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people won't do. I was living a horrible life, and I was complaining and saying, oh, that person is lucky. That person had a silver spoon. Oh, no, I was just lazy, and I wasn't willing to pick up the success tips that they were showing by observation every single day. I'm going to show y'all. I got this really cool room real quick, and it's got all these inspirational people all over the wall with their quotes. We got Pharrell, Barack, Conor McGregor. We got Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Albert Einstein, Napoleon Hill. This is my inspiration room.
I love it. I love it, dude.
Sometimes I procrastinate, and I want to make sure I'm surrounded by people who've done big things in the world. and they inspire me to not procrastinate.
It's awesome. You got all these inspirational people on. I mean, I got my own wall of heroes here that I walk into. How important is a physical environment to help you get your mindset right?
I always speak in terms of language. So say, for instance, you learn the ABCs in whatever country you're in or whatever language they speak. But whatever environment that you're in and the way that the people are speaking, that's what language you're going to speak. So if you were born in America, like your first language is English. If you were born in America. If you were born somewhere else, if you were born in China, your first language is going to be Chinese. So I think in terms of that. But if I hadn't have been into that, in the culture, in the accountability, in the environment, then I wouldn't have learned English because that's all that I saw. So when I think of terms of language, you think broke, you think insecurity, you think doubtful, you think all these different things. That is a form of language. So whatever your environment you grew up around, if your mom was saying, we ain't got no money, your dad was saying, we broke, we can't afford it, we ain't got no money, we ain't got no money. I promise you, you will not have the keys to success growing up unless you learn different. That's your form of ABCs called broke. That manifested as you get older will turn into somebody that will go to their grave with less than $20 in the bank account, which, like, I think it's some crazy number, like 85% of people on the planet die, go to their grave with less than $20 in their bank account. The environment is so important because we have an energetic body around us, and it's very far. That's why you can be in a room full of people who don't like you, and you can feel it in your soul. You can be in a room full of people who love you, like family and grandmother cooking, and you can feel it in your soul without anybody saying a word. That's all environment. So if you want to learn the language, you don't go to Starbucks, listen to Rosetta Stone once a week. If you want to learn French, go to France, be amongst the people, listen, like have a baguette, eat the food. You will learn the language 10 times more just because of the culture effect. Flowers that grow together grow much faster together than they do by themselves. But it's the same way in learning. So if you're around a bunch of people who are speaking about visions and goals and aspirations, and they're up to something, and they're action-oriented people, I promise you, that's going to expedite your results. But if you're around negative, cynical people, they're complaining about traffic, complaining about themselves, and saying all of these negative things, you might as well tie a 2-ton elephant on your legs and never fly to your dreams. Never. Get out. And if you're the one causing it, erase all of that negativity from who you're being, because you're the one that's generating all of this negative stuff. Nothing negative, nothing resentful, nothing hateful. You will not find prosperity and grace and love and an abundance inside of that. You'll find the exact opposite. Somebody asked, what if you have a negative family? Do you have to be around them 24/7? I grew up around people that were very negative. But guess what? I was always reading, looking at imaginary movies and being around and looking at the stars on my own, coloring, running, and doing things that I absolutely love. So it's not, you can have the negative family, but you don't have to be around them. You can choose to be around them, or you can choose to be the person that creates a new way of being inside of your family, and at least the next generation has a chance. But if you stay inside of that, you're going to contribute to the next generation being just as negative as your family is.
For some people who this is their first exposure to you, they haven't heard you before, they're learning about the man Garron Jones, like what is the message that you want to tell a first-time person who's just stumbling upon you right now?
Learn as much about yourself as you can. And what I mean by that is, we came over to this life and we were just handed whatever tools we were handed. If you're born into a Muslim family, you're Muslim, unless you choose different. If you're born into a Christian family, you're Christian. And you didn't choose any of those things. You were born into it. Your mom fed you chicken. Your mom fed you tofu. And you just kind of just took this on. My biggest piece of advice is to find out so much about yourself and also find out why you do the things that you do. If you don't know why you do the things that you do, you will be a slave to your mental environment and you will never be free, no matter how much you say the word freedom. Because if you have a bunch of things that you do every single day, and it was like, I don't know, because my mom does it. I don't know, because and then I'll tell you, listen, my mom, she cuts the end off the bread. I'm like, Mom, why do you cut the end off the bread? She's like, I don't know, because my mom does it. Ask my grandmother, why do you cut the end off the bread? I don't know, because my mom did it. Ask my great-grandmother before she passed away at 104. Why do you cut the end off the bread? She's like, because the toaster's too small. So I went back 3 generations to find out what 2 generations had no idea, and that was about bread. Now what about your life? So when I was in self-discovery and learning more about myself, I'm like, Mom, why do I eat chicken? She was like, because that's what I fed you. I didn't get to choose it. I only eat fish now, but I chose that when I was 13 years old. I was forced to eat fish, and I didn't want to have anything in my life where I didn't choose it, because I want to be free. Like my ultimate goal is to go to sleep at night and it's peaceful and it's calm, free of fear, free of doubt, free of worry. I don't owe anybody money, and it's calm. That's my definition of success. Well, so while I was in my self-discovery, there was lots of things that I didn't even know. Like, I used to be a hoarder. Now I'm like super clean. But I came from a family of hoarders. So that was ingrained inside of me. Being broke was ingrained inside of me. Being insecure